Hey, Viking fans, this is Keith Millard, and you are listening to the One Bar and Lupaugs Show. Go Vikes!
All right, welcome back to a very special episode of the One Bar and Lupaugs Show. We are SKOL'ing with a Viking this time. All season long, we SKOL'd with enemies. I thought this time we'll SKOL with an ally, with a friend. We got Adam Carlson from the Viking Age joining us today. Adam, how are you doing?
It's a nice day. The Vikings are making some moves and doing things and getting ready for the season, so that's exciting.
Heck yeah, we just re-signed Amir Abdullah. How did that one make you feel?
You know, when I put up my article about looking for a running back 3 and I put Abdullah first, I kind of started kicking myself because for the past couple seasons I couldn't understand his appeal, but I finally get it now.
Yeah,
I do. I'm team touchback, so I don't want somebody that's going to be taking out the kickoff returns and leaving Minnesota with the 21, 23 or whatever. Take the 25.
Absolutely. I agree with you there. Again, we're with Adam Carlson. Follow him on Twitter at MNVikingZombie. That's also your Twitch handle, correct?
Yes, and my Instagram if you like looking at cats. I do that quite a bit.
All right. All right.
And as far as I know, the internet loves cats. So.
They do. Nothing better than some cat videos.
Right.
All right. Let's get this thing started. So just again, we want to get a little different Viking perspective is kind of the point of this. You guys are always hearing me and One Bar spout our opinions. I thought it'd be nice to get a new Viking perspective in here. So Adam's joining us to give us just that. So Adam, what was your reaction when you heard, all-time great tight end Kyle Rudolph had been released?
I was shocked he was there in the first place because that extension they gave him should never have happened after drafting Smith. That just didn't make sense to me one bit. Now, from my heart, it hurt because I am a Kyle Rudolph fan. He's a good guy on the field, good guy off the field. I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple times, and every time I met him, he was positive, nice, friendly, smiling. And so having it be the end of an era, well, I guess we don't know that for sure since he's technically a free agent again now. Right?
It went through now. It went through.
Oh, it went through now? Okay.
Yep.
You'll forgive me. I haven't been looking too much today. But yeah, it kind of stinks to have him go, but it is definitely in the best interest of the team for the future. Having him there was just going to hold Smith back.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it hurt me more than I was expecting it to because I think we all saw it coming. But yeah, it's never easy to lose or let go one of the all-time Vikings greats. So, which I think he will be in the Ring of Honor. Would you agree with that? Maybe. All right. Okay. Well, one thing we disagree on. We'll see how the rest of this goes. All right.
Well, the thing is that if he gets in, you got to kind of wonder, does Everson Griffin get in?
We'll see.
Because I consider them to be like equivalent value at their positions.
Yeah.
Throughout their careers in Minnesota, and the argument was made about Brian Robinson a little bit, and I don't think he's ever really going to get in. So, yeah, I don't know. The Ring of Honor is quite an exclusive place, so it might be tough.
We'll see. Time will tell on that one. All right, were you surprised by any of the Vikings' other cuts that they made? Anybody else, any other moves they made kind of take you off guard or surprise you?
I thought that they'd probably hold on to Bailey a little longer. Just for competition purposes and because his cap hit wasn't too bad. But honestly, if you're going to open up your competition to a kicker and you've already got one on the roster that you signed and you're probably going to bring one in as an undrafted free agent or maybe late round pick, I guess I understand it. But to me, I just want Minnesota to get this kicking thing right. Mm-hmm. And if it means a longer competition with more bodies, investing a little bit of money, that's fine. But I want to see a long-term solution at this position. I'm tired of stopgaps. I'm tired of these failures that they bring in. They invest high draft picks or trade picks for. I'm out on that. Just get it right.
Yeah, I mean, well, they had the right kicker with Daniel Carlson. They just didn't hang on to him long enough. So.
And I was a big fan of Carlson. I had him going to Minnesota in my mock drafts that year.
Yeah.
And I loved the pick, but he got there and he was a little shaky and they weren't willing to wait through that. And
nope.
It's a shame.
It is. That's a whole nother episode right there. It's talking about the kicking woes. All All right. So of all the players that the Vikings cut, let go, which one do you think they're going to miss the most this year on the field?
It's going to be Riley Reef. 100%. He did not get the love that he deserved from fans. He played at a high level pretty much the whole time he was in Minnesota. He did everything that was asked of him despite a lack of talent next to him. And now they're rolling the dice on either what's going to be an unproven player at the position or a rookie. And it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, Riley Reeve, and then you look at what he got from Cincinnati. It was a 1 year, $5 million. We couldn't have made that work.
And they moved him to right tackle. I mean, he's going to be having an easy time over there. This is nothing for him.
I think one of the most shocking things from last season was how well Riley Reeve played. I mean, no one really saw that coming. I mean, he was damn good last year. And I mean, if you're going to pay a guy based on how he played, he was worth what he was supposed to make. I know it was a crazy amount, but man, actually, I thought they might just pay him. And we'll get in this later, but I kind of feel this is a season where Mike Zimmer has to win, and taking that gamble at the left tackle position, I'm really shocked they made that move.
Seeing those contracts that other left tackles are getting right now is really making that cut look kind of silly.
Yeah, I agree. I wish they would have been able to restructure him instead of just letting him go. All right, so the Vikings did bring in some new faces here in free agency. Which one are you most excited to watch this fall?
Oh, man. See, I want to say Michael Pierce, but I don't know if that counts for this year.
You can count that. That's fine.
He is such a big, strong man. And after seeing the struggles that the Vikings had in controlling the middle of the trenches, it's just, that was so ugly last year. So ugly. Watching them getting busted back. I could not believe seeing Shamar Stephen and, Jaleel Johnson just getting shoved 10 yards back on a running play. How does that even happen?
Yeah, it was tough to watch. And that Saints game on Christmas was absolutely disgusting.
Oh yeah.
That was the worst. It was so bad. Yeah, Michael Pierce, you watch those workout videos he's had. I mean, those will get you excited right there.
Absolutely. And he seems to have this infectious style about him. Like in every picture I see of him, he's smiling.
Yeah.
And I love that
because
I want NFL players to love their jobs. I want them to love what they're doing out there. And I want them to be happy when they succeed and root for other people to succeed next to them. And, man, I've been hearing a lot of people say that this might be the next Williams Wall. And that's a bit far right now. Yeah. But they are two gigantic players in the middle of that defensive line. And I don't see any reason why they can't slow down opposing teams running up the gut.
Yeah, well, I agree. I'm excited too. That's gonna be a fun thing to watch, and it'll be back to Zimmer football. I think where you're stopping the run and creating some interior pressure as well. It'll be nice to see that finally. Again, we're here with Adam Carlson. Check him out. His articles on the Viking Age. Fantastic work. He's been doing it for years. Again, follow him on Twitter at MN Viking Zombie. All right, Patrick Peterson. You actually think he's going to have an impact on the field positively? I know his PFF grades have been down in recent years. Or is he strictly here to mentor these young corners and get them up to snuff?
Why are people talking about him like he's 40 years old?
Yeah.
He's still a young man. I mean, what, he's 30?
30.
That's nothing. And his PFF grades in zone defense, I believe, were really well received. And Zimmer, I know, likes to mix things up and change things up a lot. And he said he's open to even playing some safety. So, yeah, I mean, having a versatile talent that has played at a high level in the past, that's a proven commodity to play next to all these younger cornerbacks that are finally trying to find their own. It's an exciting time for the Vikings in the secondary, as long as they can get some kind of pass rush. If some sort of thing falls out with Danielle Hunter and they don't do anything to supply a pass rush on the other side, these cornerbacks are going to get tested in a terrible way. And having Peterson there kind of takes a little bit of that off the shoulders and say, okay, there's someone there that has done this before and has the experience of it. Meanwhile, you've got your other corners who got thrown around last season, had to play in coverage for 5-6 seconds a snap. And it's just ridiculous because when Danielle Hunter was there was no way that a quarterback would get 7-8 seconds in the pocket on a regular basis. That's just stupid.
It was very stupid. It was brutal. It was brutal to watch. I mean, it was insane. I think too now you got a proven guy you pair up on the opposing team's number one wide receiver as well. So definitely going to help. Yeah, I'm excited to watch him play. And it was the last time we went and brought up future Hall of Famer onto the team, Brett Favre. I mean, who else was it? I don't know. I can't think of. This is a rare Vikings move, is what it is. So it's something they don't do.
I was shocked when I read that him and his agent approached the Vikings about a deal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the other way around, that he loved the talent on the team and the culture around the team.
Yeah.
That alone is enough to make you go, this guy gets it.
Yeah. And I mean, Spielman's whole story about it was really fun to hear. You know, they kind of talked about him, he said briefly in the meetings, but didn't think it was going to happen. So they kind of brushed it off. And, you know, a couple of days later, he gets a phone call. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. So any moves the Vikings have made or have not made yet in free agency that you're a little surprised by?
Well, if you will ever go on Twitter and click on anything the Vikings publish, you're going to see a lot of hypnotic swirls asking them to sign a guard.
Yeah.
That's been the new trend lately, and it's definitely taken over every Minnesota Vikings post. And I'm a lover of the game in the trenches. And right now, the Vikings don't have a capable guard. They don't. As much as I like Ezra Cleveland, his play wasn't up to par last year. And moving him to left tackle is a bigger question mark. So I'm just kind of wondering how that all is going to work out. But I just don't understand why guard isn't a priority and why the Vikings keep drafting offensive tackles and looking at offensive tackles and free agency when they need guards.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with you on that. I don't get it either. They didn't do it last year when it was the number one hole they had, and they doing the same thing this year. So hopefully they bring in somebody. You know, Forrest Lamp's been the name that's been rumored, and to me, I don't know if he's an upgrade at all. So I don't know. You wish they would have got one of these bigger name guys, but those contracts were pretty high, so maybe they were better to hold off. But that kind of leads into our next question here. Who's your horse? Well, you don't have to name a player, but maybe position at pick 14 in the draft, where you want to see the Vikings go, assuming they stay there and pick at pick 14.
The lazy answer is best player available, of course. But if we're going to look at positions and specific players, I don't see a first round talent guard in this draft. I don't see one. But I do see enough talent at positions like defensive end, which would be great. I'd even see if one of the top wide receivers falls. That would be a little bit of a luxury pick, but it's not like the Vikings have a ton of depth behind their top two receivers. So what are you going to do there? You can't roll with Chad Beebe as your wide receiver 3 and be absolutely comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Another position that could be evaluated that way is cornerback. I honestly am really scared for the future of Mike Hughes because his neck has been messed with so many times. And that's such a serious thing. I loved his play. I see a lot of potential in him from everything that I've seen, whether it's his college tape or his play as a Viking, but I also worry about his health as a human being. So that alone should be the priority. I think that the dark horse for the draft at 14 is linebacker. Anthony Barr's only got that 1 year left before those opted or the canceled years. And then you've got a question mark there at the other side. Sure, you've got Eric Kendricks, and he's always going to play at a high level, and he's a fantastic player. But if a really good talent, if the top talent on the board is a linebacker, a corner, something like that, you take them.
Yeah, you know, I think the Patrick Peterson move maybe took corner off the table there, especially if Mike Hughes is going to play. If they went corner again, I'd be a little bit surprised. But I totally agree with you. Like, I'm not a big fan of taking a guard at 14. I know Vera Tucker is getting a lot of steam right now, but watching him on tape, I didn't see the domination I wanted to see from a guy you're going to take that high. I think he'll do the job, but I want to see like a Quentin Nelson if I'm taking a guard that high, a guy who's just pounding everybody over. The end, I completely agree. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Zimmer goes that route, wanting to get that pass rusher opposite Daniel Hunter. I mean, you got Stephen Wiley, great depth. DJ Wanham, I'm excited for, but man, could you imagine like a Greg Russo or a Quiddy Pay opposite, you know, Hunter? That'd be very, very exciting to me. So that's kind of where I want to go right now, but I like what you said about everything else. You know, safety, I wonder just, you know, I'd still like the Vikings move down a few spots. I think if Mac Jones falls, you know, if he's there at 14, maybe a team like the Washington football team, Bears want to move up. You can move down, get your second round pick back, and still get a player who can impact the team, but we'll see what happens.
Is it wrong that I would rather see the Vikings waste a first-round pick on a quarterback they're not going to play to sit behind Kirk Cousins than have Sean Mannion back?
Yeah, you know, that's the other thing. I'm surprised they haven't re-signed him yet. As bad as Mannion is, and he gives you absolutely nothing, they always bring him back. But
he's never thrown an NFL touchdown.
Yeah.
Ever.
You know, what I would love to see him maybe swing a deal and get Gardner Minshew in here, but that's, you know, we'll see what happens there.
Joe Flacco just signed a deal to be a backup or compete, and
yeah,
he's I don't want to say washed up, but his best days are likely behind him.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I mean, at least he's done it before,
right?
I mean, yeah, I don't know what this Mannion love's all about. So,
and the Vikings have an odd tradition here. Minnesota's never had two quarterbacks play a full 16-game season back to back ever in franchise history.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Last year, Kirk Cousins played 16. This year, it sounds like we're going to see a backup start a game.
Hopefully, because we're resting the starters at the end of the year, right?
That's the hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. So sticking with the draft, give me some positions. You know, the Vikings have, I think, 6 picks in rounds 3 and 4. Or no, maybe it is 6. So what are some positions you want to see them address there in those mid rounds?
Guard, of course. Mm-hmm. I know that Deontay Brown is rising up charts after that weight loss and showing off that his feet and speed are a little bit better because of that weight loss. And honestly, he might shoot himself out of being a 3rd, 4th round pick. Mm-hmm. That's not great. Tommy Kramer will probably be there around 3 or 4, which I'd honestly be on board for that. There's a lot of capable guards in this draft. It's a deeper draft for guards, but it's not very top heavy. Yeah. So waiting for round 3 or 4 there, perfect for me. That's what I love. I also want to see a safety taken there. I want to see maybe some special teams work in rounds 4 and 5 or so, because man, I was doing some research on running backs when I was looking up running back 3, and running backs don't return punts really anymore. So that kind of made me shake my head a little bit. Then I was like, okay, let's take a look at corners. And not a lot of corners either. It's mostly wide receivers these days. So maybe like a wide receiver that could come in and be a wide receiver 3 or 4 and do those punt returns, because I just want someone that can haul in a punt return consistently and not have the ball go to the ground, just to secure the possession. Because the worst thing that can happen in a Mike Zimmer team is to give away possessions, give away field position. That is the easiest way for the Vikings to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I don't know what the team saw in KJ Osborne last year. That guy has
his college tape was good,
but I mean, he's got no natural. I mean, like Marcus Sherrills, he could wiggle his way free and then go. And I didn't see any of that from KJ Osborne. I didn't see much of a burst when he actually had his opportunity, so I don't know what they were looking at there. But
I feel bad because I was pounding the table for him when I was doing a lot of my draft research. I was like, we need this guy to come in and do punt returns. He comes in, he does punt returns, and I'm like, oh no, and now I got to hide my head.
Yeah,
because it's bad.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if he makes a team next year, but who knows? We'll see what happens there. All right,
so he's definitely not going to carve himself out a job on offense.
No, I don't think
that's not going to happen.
I don't think so either. Again, I'm here with Adam Carlson from the Viking Age at MN Viking Zombie. A couple more left. You got a late round sleeper you love in the draft this year?
I'm going to cheat on this one again, and I'm going to say the safety Ford out of Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. I know that he's probably going to be a 3rd rounder, but I love that kid's instincts and ability to chase the ball. The biggest knock on him, of course, is his fundamentals as far as tackling and things like that, and his size, a little bit of bulking up, and a little bit of time under Mike Zimmer, and I think that he'll have those problems sorted out pretty quickly. But having him play a zone-style defense and opening up things again for Harrison Smith to be able to come in and run support or blitz packages or things like that. That's one of the major things that was missing last year. And I think that Ford, even though he may not be able to do those things right away, because, yeah, it's going to take time to adjust to the NFL, but, man, that's been my draft crush for months now.
Yeah, well, apparently he had a really bad pro day, so maybe he will be there much later than you think. So we'll see how that ends up going. I saw something that said he was undraftable after his pro day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. He ran slow. I don't know if he's out of shape. I know he didn't play last year. But, yeah, I don't look into it. But, yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been able to look at a lot. When was his pro day?
Pittsburgh's was, I think, end of last week, I think.
Oof.
But, yeah, I mean – if he falls down, you snag him late. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, maybe he won't be a third rounder.
maybe you're right. Maybe you nailed it. All right, final here. All right, so I've been a big pusher that this is a Mike Zimmer do or die season. I think if they have a slow start, I think he probably gets canned. Are you on the same impression that maybe Zimmer, if he's going to keep his job beyond this year, he's got to win? And you think if he does get let go, do you think that ends the Rick Spielman era as well?
This is kind of a loaded question because I don't put a lot of the blame on Zimmer. I don't think that in a lot of situations he was set up with the right talent or depth to be able to be in a winning situation. And a lot of the seasons where he did have losing situations, they were because of issues really outside of his control, whether it be injuries or just ridiculous things happening on the field. And I'm a Mike Zimmer supporter. I love the old school smash mouth football. I love basing your offense around a running back and controlling the time of possession, winning the field battles. That's what I'm all about. So I don't know if I'll ever be that guy that says that Mike Zimmer needs to be on the way out, unless something just mind blowing happens for him and it's just bad. But if that somehow does happen, it will be a situation where the Wilfs look at the situation and say, okay, we're going to clean house. We're going to get a new GM. We're going to get a new head coach, and we're going to completely rebrand this team and try to see what we can do to win. So whether or not Mike Zimmer himself is on the hot seat is kind of irrelevant in my eyes, because I do believe it would be a full shutdown and restart if the Wilf family and the ownership decides that it's time to shift gears.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want Mike Zimmer to go either, but if you start 1-5 again, I don't like his chances of making it through the year. And again, Rick Spielman, I mean, he's been here since 06 in some kind of role, 07. You got to end at some point. So I think they are tied together. I think if one goes, they both go. So, and I've been pretty happy with Spielman's moves overall, except his inability to find a good guard. But
yeah, their ability to draft guards and quarterbacks has been rough. Wide receivers have been somewhat of a miss overall, especially considering what they've invested. And I don't know. He's a master, Rick Spielman is, at conducting trades. The maximizing the value of a player in a trade is something that he's just absolutely wonderful at.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the draft goes, yeah, he likes bringing in a lot of players and trying to see what he can hit on. And he's found some really good hits there, but he's missed on several first rounders and second rounders over the years. And it's been a bit spotty, but free agency is always a bit of a question mark too, because I get what he's doing in free agency. He's looking at the talent he's bringing in at the price instead of kind of pigeonholing himself into a position. And yeah, that's going to make a lot of fans mad. The ones that want a high-priced guard when he's trying to fill out other holes in the roster so that he can enter the draft with fewer needs and be able to move around and have the versatility to get a player at a position of need when it's a better value. So, or wait in free agency until there's a player that might not be as great of a value, but they can get him at a discount. I don't know. As a 40-year-old Vikings fan, it's crazy looking back on all the years that there was this talent and Minnesota just couldn't get it done. And I've got to add a lot of these recent Vikings seasons to that list where the talent was there, that the team should have been better.
Mm-hmm.
And pointing the finger is something that nobody really likes to do, I don't think, or shouldn't really like to do. But man, those fingers are pointing all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. And it's something that has to go back. I mean, there's times where I think you can point the finger at Zimmer where he looks like the team's not prepared, not fired up, not ready to go. But like you mentioned it, I mean, the injuries last year were one thing. There's always seems to be some kind of, what the Tony Soprano dying, in the preseason. There's always some kind of distraction. It always seems to happen. So you're definitely right on that. But yeah, I agree. I think I'd like to see these guys stick around a little bit longer. I love Zimmer as well. You gotta love that old school coach, and just seeing what a big draw that was for Patrick Peterson to come here to work with Zimmer, who has that pedigree, who has that coaching, the D-backs. Everybody holds him in high regard. So
yeah,
still a draw for free agents. So that definitely is very valuable to keep around here.
And when Weatherly came back too, he was talking about how that the defensive line coaching staff was a big reason why he wanted to return to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So the staff, although there is kind of a high turnover, a lot of those assistants and positional coaches are getting promoted, going to other teams, and it's leaving Minnesota having to fill in. And they always seem to do a decent job grabbing these coaches that turn into great coaches somewhere else. And
mm-hmm.
I know that Vikings fans are seeing a lot of those coaches that have left Minnesota and having success, and they're a little bit jealous of that, but it's not like Mike Zimmer's a bad coach.
No, I don't think so. All right, well, that's it. That's Adam Carlson from the Viking Age SKOL'ing with us today. Adam, again, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Again, check him out at the Viking Age. Follow him on Twitter, on Instagram, on Twitch at MN Viking Zombie. Adam?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me here. I appreciate it. Any chance I can get to talk Vikings football, I love it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on again, man. And hey, guys, remember, always keep your skull in your hole.